Hi, I'm Alexa, and my intended co-star for the night, because he knows that I would like him to be here, has decided he cannot possibly, ever be on the desk ever again. It's the worst place in the entire apartment, and he absolutely hates it. So Maverick has run away. I apologize. I took the picture. It was so cute, and then not even treats could get him back on the desk. He is just, nope, it's not inconveniencing you. I'm gone. I wanted him on the desk because tonight's topic is weaponized incompetence. From Psychology Today, I will leave a link because there's more information that I'm going to talk about. Weaponized incompetence, also called strategic incompetence, is when someone knowingly or unknowingly demonstrates an ability to perform or master certain tasks, thereby leading others to take on more work. Now, I have become more aware of this term, weaponized incompetence, over the past maybe 10, 15 years, and it's very, very much used in the context of a traditional real life, can't talk, male-female relationships in a home where women, it has been documented, overwhelmingly pick up all of the house care, the cooking, the cleaning, child care, overwhelmed. Like, you see videos of women with all of the bags trying to get 3 kids in the house, and the guy just standing off on the yard on his phone like, oh, did you need help? Are you kidding me? Dude, you don't ask. You just do it. Right? You hear those stories of women who are like, I stopped asking him to empty the dishwasher because he literally, despite 15 years living in this house, cannot put the fork in the thing where the forks go. Have always gone. Never go anywhere else. That's always the fork spot. And he puts them everywhere in the drawer. And it's just, why bother? It creates more work for me if I have him help. Weaponized incompetence. Now, I sort of paused at this unknowing part of this definition because it is absolutely sort of absurd at first thought, at least to me, that these people don't know what they're doing. The majority of people at least have an idea that they just got away with not having to do something, and they're like, yay, they're doing it for me, right? Like, there's definitely, in my opinion, a level of knowledge. What I didn't realize, and when I read a little bit more about this, is that strategic incompetence, which I'm not sure that this should be included, it could quite literally be that they're not able to learn how to do a task at work or in the home. So the second place we can see this, and this is what I've been a little bit more noticing, just looking back on my entire working life, how I have had weaponized incompetence from coworkers. I have often been, kind of pride myself on it, the person that managers come to have help with stuff because they know they can count on me. I like being known as reliable. I like being known as able to get stuff done. I wanted Maverick in the video because I laugh at him and I make fun of him. He's a cat. He's okay. He can take it. I have done a video on toys that I've used, have in the house for them, and I've told you about treat toys. So this is probably the easiest treat toy that I have in the house. It is a very large opening, and all they have to do is roll it over, and several treats will fall out at the same time. If I am standing where Maverick can see my eyes, it doesn't matter if I'm across the room and he's on the other side. If he can see my eyes and stare at me, he will stare and meow the most pitiful, I can't do it, Mom, help, kind of meows that you will have ever heard in your life. If I'm not in the room, that thing is empty in seconds. Now, I have a bunch of other toys, and some of them are a lot harder than others. Some of them he hasn't figured out how to do, but several of them he has figured out. But it is the same thing. If I am standing right near him where he can see my eyes, he will just act like he doesn't know what to do. It is the funniest, weirdest thing. Like, he's just lazy. I think that's what it is he's lazy. He wants me to hand feed him the treats. Kane, on the other hand, he wants to do it himself, but he doesn't want me watching. And I think what Kane does is that if I'm looking at the food, he thinks I must want it for myself. And so he, knowing that I'm the boss in the house and I take care of everything and all of that, he is more like, oh, well, I can't take the food if she's watching because she wants it because she's watching. You know what I mean? And it's more like I don't think he's intimidated. The second I turn my back, he's all over those toys. He absolutely loves them. He'll ask me to put stuff in the toys. They both will. They'll ask me to. And then Kane will wait for me to turn away to play with them. And Maverick will wait till I turn away for a different reason. Because if I'm watching and he can see my eyes, he's like, Mom, you need to not put them in the toys. Like, I don't know why he goes and walks to them and meows at me as if, like, fill them up. But then I fill them up and then he gets mad. He's a cat. Who knows what goes on in his little brain. So with the expansion of the treat toys that I have for my cats, I think I started with literally an egg carton back in 2020. I started with that for Maverick, and we've evolved over time for the toys that we do have now. They have gotten harder, and it's allowed me to see the way Maverick acts. And oh my gosh, he literally will be there not knowing I'm watching him. He'll get a bunch of them out rapid succession, and then he suddenly notices I'm there. Oh, Mom, meow, meow, meow. Can you get them out? I can't do it, Mom. And then he'll do, oh my gosh, it's the funniest. I wish I could videotape this for you all because it's super funny, and maybe one day I will capture it. He will be like super like ridiculously like, how do you explain it? Pretending he's trying to get them out. And then looking at me like, Mom, I couldn't do it. See? It's crazy. It is crazy the types of personalities that pets have and how different they can be from each other. And then this like emotional manipulation that he's trying to do. He wants me to think he's starving. Like, Mom, I can't do it. Help. I'm just a poor, pitiful cat. So, yeah, watching him over the past couple of years and really seeing this weaponized incompetence that he's doing, it's made me think about it a lot more, and why I have also then been thinking about my work life over the years, all the different people I've worked with, who I have seen using weaponized incompetence, who I have seen suffering from people who use weaponized incompetence in terms of like having to take on more work. And then more recently, and this is probably the part that I'm very much trying to, it's simple, but it's not simple, right? As a manager, as a people manager, as a leader, we naturally give our high performers more work. And we also often give them the work that is less fun. Oh my gosh, 1 week a year, y'all, I get overrun by little black flies, and this must be the week because they're in here driving me absolutely nuts. I know I've had flies in here before. The way my I have an AC unit in one of the windows, and it stays there all year, and the way it was put in, it doesn't actually, like, the flanges don't actually shut all the way, so there's always gaps where little bugs can get in, which does not help at all. That was a little bit of a detour. So let's go back to being a manager. when we see weaponized incompetence in our employees, what can we do about it? It's tough. It's tough. There are employees who know they're doing it and don't care, and no amount of coaching is going to address that. They don't care. They're going to just keep doing it. There are employees who have no idea that they're doing it and will be extremely upset and apologetic and potentially fragile emotionally if you tell them that, okay, yeah, you got to do better, pick up more of the work, whatever it is. You have employees who know that they're doing it, don't want to do it, but don't have the skills, capacity, whatever it is needed to be able to stop doing it. And then you have the people who suffer for it. But there's also the people within that category who, there's people who like wear it like a badge. And I potentially might have been in that group at one point. I'm not sure that I am now. I think I get a little bit more frustrated having to fix something for the 100th time, or do something that's genuinely not my job, that someone else should be able to do. Like, it's basic, not that hard. I have a lot less patience for the weaponized incompetence. I have a lot less patience for people taking advantage of other people's kindness and willingness to help, and not just my own, but seeing it with other people. Co-workers, obviously, yeah. And it's challenging because there's also the line of what is good enough. So when you have employees, any business, there is essentially the minimum expectations for that position, and that is good enough. If you are meeting expectations, the expectations for the position, that's good enough. You're doing your job. Anything above and beyond that is a bonus for the company in the person that they've hired, right? So if you look at any employee out there, okay, any employee anywhere, if they left that position today and you had to hire someone in who had never done the position before, was average, across the board, average at everything, what would that performer do? The new one you have to hire. Okay. We get so used to our coworkers and how they perform, especially those who do a lot and are really, really good at it. We get very used to that. And so that becomes the norm, the standard. That's our new minimum expectation because that's what they always do. But that's not the actual minimum expectation of the position. The minimum expectation of the position is if you had to hire someone who has not done this position before and they had to come in and learn it from scratch, what do you expect from them? And they are an average performer across the board. And average is fine. Average is good. Average is meeting expectations. Is that where you're actually assessing your current performer against that level? Are you so used to how high of a performer they are that you're not acknowledging it as much as you need to? Are you missing their suffering from other people's weaponized incompetence by just being used to them picking up like certain stuff every week, some weekly tasks? You have to be very careful, and this goes as well in personal relationships, not just at work. You have to be very careful to stick to the facts. the data, the facts, the actual, well, how can we fix this together, right? Now, in a relationship, and whether that's personal or at work, those people who are like, I'm not changing, I don't care, that relationship probably needs to end. And that is a very, very sucky thing. There are also the people who want to change and for whatever reason cannot. You have to think about those too. And especially in a work environment where you have teams, it really sucks. But some teams are going to perform better if you do remove one of the people from that team. The data out there is astonishing, and the rational brain that I had, the rational side of my brain is like, that makes complete and utter sense. I've seen it. I've seen it when, through whatever reason, whatever way, a team has changed where one person who had weaponized incompetence, used it a lot, used it, whatever, however you say that, they were no longer there on that team, whether it was through maybe they got a new position, maybe they were let go, maybe there was just a reshuffling of teams. And I've seen the remaining team members sort of breathe a sigh of relief and go, oh, now we can relax. And the more relaxed you are, the better you are at your job. Ironic, right? It's tough because you have to go back to that same principle of, if I hired someone off the street, what is that minimum expectation? If this person's still meeting those minimum expectations, heck, they might be slightly above expectations in, let's say one area of their work, they're well above expectations. But in other areas, maybe they are super negative. Maybe they are making appropriate jokes. Whatever it is, and it's affecting the mood, that's still an area of the work that has a minimum expectation that might not be as quantifiable as make this many sandwiches during your shift, right? If you're working at a fast food restaurant. How do you quantify certain things? You still have to be careful to look at, are they meeting minimum expectations? Have we coached them enough? Can we coach them? Are they willing to work with us? How do you do that? I have a little anecdote, and I've shared it in a video before. When I was living in New York, I had been introduced to a few people who, they shared an apartment, and I hung out with one of them more than the others, at least at the beginning. And I went over, and it was just that person at the apartment, and we were hanging out, and then another one came home, and I could tell that they were upset, but I couldn't understand why. I didn't know why. Long story short, I ended up in the kitchen with that person, and they basically to me, it was super blunt at the time, but I've come to recognize it was tactful and a good strategy. They basically said, you don't know this information. I'm going to tell you, and this is why I'm upset. It's not your fault. You didn't know this information. And they told me some information, and I was like, oh, no, that makes sense. Except when they first said it to me, because I'd never really had that kind of honest, direct conversation with someone before, addressing something literally the second, few minutes later, 20 minutes later, whatever it was, like addressing it right then. When I first heard the words they were telling me, I felt like I was being attacked. And then something in me was like, they're not attacking me. They've literally said, I know you didn't know it, so it's not your fault. It was such like an eye-opening model of not letting something you don't like happen again by simply ripping the Band-Aid off, eating the frog, biting the bullet, whatever phrase you want to use for just doing it right now. Just get it done. When we address something the first time it happens, immediately when it happens, we normally do not have all of this excess emotion that then influences how we communicate what the issue is. Now, weaponized incompetence is not a one-time thing. Weaponized incompetence is a pattern of behavior. And this is why I have sort of that issue with unknowingly. I think on some level, these people, they know that they're doing it. Whether they've actually taken stock of why they're doing it, what it's causing, what they're gaining, thought about it for more than 2 milliseconds, probably not, a lot of them. But I think they do know on some level, right? If you address it that first time, it won't become weaponized incompetence. Most of us don't do that because we like to give other people the benefit of the doubt. If you are going to go into leadership, you have to find a way to learn how to have those sort of uncomfortable, slightly difficult conversations, and you have to learn to have them sooner. You have to learn how to address things the first time it comes up in a way that says, I'm not sure you realize this. I want to let you know, FYI, thanks for listening. Right? I want to tell you what happened. I want to tell you my point of view, and that's it. Right? It's not easy. As people, we are conflict averse. It's the fight or flight instinct. Most of us don't want to fight. And we don't actually want this conversation to be a fight. Now, if you are in a situation where weaponized incompetence has been used for a long time against you, it is hard for people to change habits. And I get that. The only way it will ever be successful is if the person who is weaponizing incompetence is willing and actively engaged in finding a solution with you. Not saying the right words, but not following up with actions, not ignoring you, not knocking you down, not gaslighting you maybe. Unless they are actively at the table, coming up with ideas themselves, not just expecting you to tell them how to fix it, because that's weaponized incompetence as well. They have to come up with ideas of what they are going to do to fix it with your help, possibly, right? You need to have a sort of format of check-ins. Like, is this going to change overnight? No. Let's reassess in a month where we are now. If it's better, we keep going, right? If it's not better, we're going to have a deeper conversation. And then you set an expectation of what better means, right? Because if you just say, I want you to do more, well, does that mean they fold the laundry once in the whole month? Or are you expecting them to fold the laundry at least once a week, every week for 4 weeks? And that's better. Technically, they should be folding it every other day because you're folding it every other day, right? That would be an equal split of work. If you have a house with a lot of kids, I'm thinking lots and lots of laundry. It only will get better if they are a willing and capable participant. For the most part, most of the people we know are probably capable of the small changes needed to address this behavior and fix it and change it. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, it's all my personal opinion. Anyway, that is what I've got for you tonight. We are going to see, hopefully this resonates with some people. Hopefully it is something new for other people to learn. Hopefully I didn't forget something I wanted to say. And if you made it this far, as always, thank you. Be kind to yourself.